Hi, I'm Dr. Kate Bevan-Marks, a hypnosis trainer from London, England. Thank you for subscribing. You're now going to be one of the first to get updates about our exciting new hypnosis training platform. As promised, here is your first video, and this is all about creating hypnotic suggestions. Now, this is an extract from one of our exciting new hypnosis online training products. To get you started, here's Rory.
So all hypnotherapy techniques and approaches and scripts are made up of suggestions. Now, suggestions can be various different types, and I'm going to cover those here. But fundamentally, it's telling the client what to experience, giving that across in an easy to understand way. And there are two different types of suggestion. You have direct suggestion and indirect suggestion. Direct suggestion, as you might expect, is directly telling the client what to do or what to experience, such as close your eyes. It's direct. It also informs the client of an intended experience or a response. So you will feel relaxed by the end of this hypnotherapy session. Or perhaps as soon as you go home tonight, you will immediately find yourself preparing a healthy meal for your dinner. So direct suggestions, as you can see, are relatively simple. So long as you know what the client is there for and what they want to be working on, then you can pretty much tailor your direct suggestions to meet those expectations and requirements. Indirect suggestions, however, might take a little bit more thinking about. However, they are still fairly simple to do. You're taking a direct suggestion and making it more indirect. You're making it more permissive. So you're not telling them, you're giving the illusion of choice. By doing this, it enables the subject, the client, to create their own experience of your suggestion rather than it being prescriptive. They can put their own spin on it. And this is really good for clients who don't necessarily like being told what to do. Now, most people don't really like being told what to do, so it's really good practice to intersperse direct and indirect suggestions into all of your hypnotherapy suggestion work. So there are many different types of indirect suggestion, but in this video we're going to give you 5 of the main ones that you can use with your hypnotherapy clients. The very first one is imagination-based indirect suggestions. So getting your client to imagine something, rather than telling them, you are going to go home and going to feel absolutely great about your weight loss. You could say, imagine what life will be like when you've lost that weight. So it's a lot more indirect. You're not telling them directly that that is going to happen. You're implying it and getting them to fill in the blanks using their own imagination, which is really nice. Permissiveness is the next type of indirect suggestion, and it simply is making your direct suggestion more permissive, using words like perhaps, might, maybe, could. So perhaps you can wonder how relaxed you might feel in a few moments. Another one is embedded commands. Now, an embedded command is where you take a direct suggestion and you put it in between or within an indirect phrase or sentence. So you're taking it, you're softening it so it seems like it's indirect, yet it still has that very direct element to it. So for example, see if you can pick out the direct suggestion within this very indirect phrase. Notice how you can feel relaxed as I talk to you. So as you might have noticed there, when I nodded my head, that was when I was giving the direct suggestion within that indirect phrase. I didn't tell you to feel relaxed. I said, notice how you can feel relaxed as I talk to you. So it's still a fairly indirect phrase, but by changing the tonality, by changing the pace, the speed, by changing the inflection of the direct part of that phrase, that makes it embedded so that people will notice the difference, but only subtly. You don't want to make it too obvious or they will understand what you're doing. Whereas if I said, notice how you can feel relaxed as you listen to the sound of my voice. That's a bit too obvious. So make it subtly different, but not so much that they'll go, oh, I know what you're doing. This way the subconscious mind picks up that embedded suggestion without the conscious mind really being aware of what's happening. Presuppositions are another indirect language pattern that are really, really useful working with many different clients on various different issues. It's something that I personally use all the time. The idea is that you are presupposing, you are assuming their response and what that's going to be. For instance, By watching this hypnotherapy training program, you're well on your way to becoming a successful hypnotherapist. Now, I don't know if that's true or not, because you might have had this on in the background while you were doing something different, in which case you're probably not getting the most from it. However, if you have been watching it, then it's likely that you probably will be well on your way to becoming a hypnotherapist. But I'm assuming that that is true for that statement. Another one that's really useful is the double bind, and this is where you give a client two options. However, both of these options are acceptable to you as a hypnotherapist, but it gives the client a choice as to what they do. So for instance, this change can either happen now or in the coming days and weeks, whichever way is right for you. So you're giving the client the option to change now or to change later. Either way, they're going to change, so that's what you want. This is a really useful tool that parents use very often, such as, would you like to have a shower before tea, or would you like to have a shower after tea? Either way, that shower is going to happen. Your hypnotherapy suggestions are intended to create alterations in your client, to create changes in them, and not necessarily the big change, the big goal, but small changes along the way. And the things that you can change using suggestions are absolutely numerous. You can change sensations, you can change thoughts, you can change feelings, you can change movements, you can change behaviors, all with suggestions, whether direct or indirect. Basically, it's just telling the client what you want them to do, telling them in whichever way you feel is most appropriate for this client to accept that suggestion to change the thing that you want them to change.
And as you sit there and relax, I'd like you to listen to my voice. And as you listen to my voice, I'd like you to know that over the coming days and weeks, you're going to find it ever more easy to simply ignore junk food. In fact, you're going to find it so easy to ignore junk food. It's as though it's not a part of your food regime any longer. I wonder whether you'll be more surprised at how easy it is to let go of old habits, or more surprised at how effective you are at focusing on a new way of eating, of boosting and building your healthy eating. And from this point onwards, you're going to focus on eating healthily. And it may be that your breakfast or your lunch or even your dinner is the most healthiest. Or it could be that any and all meals are equally as healthy. That's right. And in fact, it may be that when you wake up in the morning, you're going to focus your mind on healthy eating. It may be that whenever you walk into the kitchen, you have in mind that your new way of eating is a healthy way of eating. We hope that you enjoyed that video. It was an extract from our upcoming Hypnotherapy 101 training course. Keep a lookout for our next update just before launch, which contains an exclusive training video and a bonus just for you. Thank you for watching. We'll be in touch soon. Oh, and if you have any questions at all about our new online training platform, leave a question below and we'll get back to you personally. Bye-bye for now.